Welcome back to the 30th Psalm. This is part two. Now, in his dark hour of depression, David was confronted by the knowledge that God was aware of his suffering. He continued to pour out his heart to God, sharing the additional hurts that had brought him to his knees. I want you to notice here that David did not address God as Lord Jehovah, but as Master. All right, acknowledging that he was God's servant, he trusted that his master would care for him in his distress. Verse 9, realizing that God knew him better than he knew himself, David bared his soul to his Lord. Now, God knew the true desire or longings of his heart. What David wanted more than anything else was to not be relieved of his suffering, but to be restored to fellowship with God. His groaning or sighing was not due only to his physical pain, but to the pain of his lonely spirit that craves communion with the Lord. In verse 10, God understood how David's sin had affected him. I mean, his heart palpitated or pounded, all right, in his chest from the stress that his sin had caused. And his strength and zest for life had vanished. The light had gone out of his eyes. He had lost perspective, and he could no longer see any meaning for his life. Now, verse 11, to add to his already excruciating pain, David's friends and family had forsaken him. David's infected sores or wounds were open and offensive. Fearing that his sickness was contagious, the people that he cared about stayed away at a time when he desperately needed their care. Friends is also translated as loved ones and speaks of those for whom that he had affection, and companions refers to his associates. Now, neighbors is better translated as kinsmen or relatives. Now, to me, it's possible that his sin had strained his relationship with his family and his friends, and they rejected him because of their hurt and anger. Some probably stayed away because they were uncomfortable being around David in his condition, and they did not know what to do or to say. Now, verse 12. It was no surprise to David that his enemies had seized the opportunity his sickness provided to attack him. I mean, they went about trying to destroy him, setting snares or traps for the already wounded king. They spoke of his ruin, slandering David, predicting the worst, and twisting the truth about his condition. All day long, they plotted treachery against David. Verse 13, all of these things, physical pain, emotional and spiritual anguish, loneliness, strained relationships, enemy attacks, all of these brought David to a place of total isolation from his world. Physically consumed, mentally depressed, and socially shunned, David was unable to respond to his enemies or do anything about his situation. He actually described himself as a mere observer of his life, as if he were just looking on, unable to speak, hear, or reply. False information about him continued to spread because he was unable to speak in his defense. Well, brothers and sisters, at our lowest points of our lives, on our darkest days, and our loneliest nights, we need to remember that we are not alone. God loves us, and he is aware of our despair. Even when we have sinned against him and he must discipline us, he comforts us and seeks to heal us. When everyone else forsakes us, the Lord is with us and he cares about us. He invites us to cast all of our cares upon him, even those problems of our own making. When we give our burdens to God, he promises to give us rest.